Right. So today I want to talk about the basically the Maxime Bernier not being allowed to participate in the leaders' debates in the upcoming election in Canada, and I'll just read a little bit of the article here, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it. But basically, uh, actually, I don't really want to read much of this article. I don't think it has anything too relevant. But uh, the debates in Canada are a little bit different in that they're basically run by the government, which is kind of corrupt in and of itself, and that it's not, CBC or a popular social media uh, news outlet that are doing the debates like it should be. It should be, more private organizations who decide who they're going to invite. That and then that would make it a lot more honest and open rather than the problem now is that all the four, actually, well, five parties that are coming pretty much all have very, very similar beliefs. Uh, Bernier would be by far the outsider, and the main reason for that is the conservatives aren't really conservative anymore. I know people have been saying that for a while, but the Canadian conservatives are about the furthest to the left. I mean, they ever have been in Canada, and they're probably as far to the left as like a conservative party, and even in like Sweden or like a more leftist country in Europe. I don't know which one's the most leftist, but they're basically a centrist party, to be honest. They have a lot of positions that are to the left, even of like a Democrat or a Canadian Liberal would have held, like as recently as like 10 years ago. Like they're fully on board the gay marriage, or not even gay marriage, the LGBT agenda. Um, I mean, no one's really pro-war anymore. So, from a social perspective, I mean, for all the people that say I want someone who's fiscally conservative and socially to the left. Well, the Canadian conservatives are that. The problem is that I don't think a lot of people actually believe that. I think they just say it partially just for the aspect of saying it. But getting back into this, the main reason that they don't want Bernier is because Bernier is a true outsider. He's someone who's actually going to question the Trudeau Liberals and the likely winner of the upcoming election, the Scheer Conservatives. And there really isn't that much of a difference between the two, and that Bernier actually has some good solid beliefs. I think anybody complaining about the conservatives that isn't someone who's on the left should be voting for the People's Party. Anyone who's a libertarian or libertarian mindseted should be voting for the PPC, and that's the main reason that, or anybody even concerned that the Liberals have gone too far to the left, which unless you're center left, then you shouldn't be voting conservatives. Like, the conservatives shouldn't win this election. In all honesty, it probably should be a PPC minority, with the conservatives holding the next amount of seats, and I don't know who would hold the third most, because all the leftist parties are in shambles right now. The Liberals mainly because of Trudeau, the NDP mainly because they're in shambles. They only have like 100 MPs running, or delegates, whatever you want to call them at this point, uh, running, which I think you can have about 340. So that's a lot less than you can. I mean, the PPC has, I think, just over 300, and the NDP, which was at one point, I think, the official opposition, which means they're the party with the second most seats, and now they could be fourth, fifth, even if the PPC beats them. Um, at this point, my prediction is probably still a conservative minority, which I really don't get it. If Maxime Bernier would have won the conservative leaders debate, and he had a platform maybe not quite as far as the PPCs, but similar to the PPCs, I think the conservatives would win by the largest amount in decades. Like, I think that they would win, like, they would have double the next amount of seats, like, literally. But because the conservatives are so vanilla, watered down, basically liberals with slightly less taxes, hence slightly, because I don't even think they don't even really want to do anything as far as that stuff goes, as far as I can tell, because as Maxime Bernier has said on a lot of occasions, whenever you press Andrew Scheer on a lot of these things, he never really will give you a number. He always just, dances around the edges, not trying to take a hard position on anything, which is going to really hurt them. But this is just another example of democracy not really existing in Canada and in the West, and democracy as a whole being a lie. They pump it up like it's this great system that's foolproof, fail-safe, that it really isn't. There's as much corruption as in democracy as there is in any other system. It's just not open, and if they could have as much corruption or in a lot of these third world countries without the public noticing it, they would do it. And to be perfectly honest, I don't even think there is much of a difference between the corruption levels of the Trudeau government, or even, the Trump government to a smaller extent. But there isn't much of a difference between that and a third world country. The only difference is the third world country, everyone's open and honest about it. Here we pretend like we're above that when in reality we aren't. And the main reason for that is just that we're brainwashed in public schools to think that we have the best systems and our system is the perfect one and it's foolproof and all that stuff. But very disappointing. I know there's petitions out there to get him in the debate, so go look those up, sign those, and hopefully we can get him in. If not, follow Maxime and the PPC on all the social media platforms, retweet, follow them, share them. Just give them as much exposure as you can, basically. So I'll leave this video there. If you liked it, hit that like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.